My name is Sarah Mayo. I work with Whh as Head of Project for Western Kenya. Whh is an international non-governmental organization, and they've been in Kenya since the 1970s. And here in Western Kenya, we are implementing projects funded by GIZ under the One World No Hunger BMZ special initiative. In Western Kenya, Whh is implementing a project called Soil Protection and Rehabilitation of Degraded Soils under the One World No Hunger special initiative of BMZ. This project covers 3 project areas, or 3 counties. That is the counties of Kakamega, Siaya and Bungoma. But Whh is only currently working in 2 of the project areas, and that is Kakamega and Siaya. The target beneficiaries are smallholder farmers with an maximum area of 1.5 hectares. And we don't work with individual farmers, we work with farmer groups. The choice of Western Kenya is twofold. The first one is that the staple food productivity has been going down, that is especially maize, has been declining over the years. And this has been attributed to decreasing soil fertility, and this was confirmed by an audit that was carried out by GIZ. The second reason is that the population in Western Kenya is very high, with about 435 people per square kilometer. And of course, this means that there has been declining sizes in land due to land fragmentation. And of course, that in essence affects food security. When we came to Western Kenya to implement the project, the first step that we took was to hold inception meetings with the county government and inform them on the project. And this we did in collaboration with GIZ, who we are implementing the project with. After that, we actually went out to target beneficiaries, and this we did in conjunction with the extension staff in the field, that is the ward agricultural officers.
The Ministry of Agriculture mainly is for the policy, making up policy which can help us improve our productivity. And when our partners came, WHH, they came in with some important aspects that can help us improve our farmers' lives by the way they came in, for example, soil and water conservation. It is a very tedious job when, for example, I'm in one person in my ward, and then they came in with those technologies, and then even getting farmers at one point always is very difficult. So when they came in and they could bring in the farmers together, they could help us mobilize. So at least that one we have gained, because even our other activities that maybe we wanted to pass to our farmers, we can get them there.
And after the identification of the beneficiaries, before we could roll out anything, we needed to know the soil status of the farmers. So what we did was we took soil samples from each of the beneficiaries and sent them to the laboratories. We used crop nuts and SGS to do the soil tests. After we received the soil tests, we held meetings with the farmers and gave them the results of their soils. And during the process, the results come with recommendations. So we were able to interpret the results to the farmers and then give them the recommendations on what should be carried out to amend their soils.
Kwa majina naitwa Job wa Munga Mururi. Hapa tunakaa kwa village inaitwa Matora A, Manyala location, Butere sub county, tuko Kakamega county. Na mimi ni mkulima, na ni mkulima ambaye niko kwa kikundi ambacho kinaitwa Fanya Bidii. Kwa hiki kikundi tuko watu 30, na hiki kikundi pia kimesajiliwa na shirika la serikali. Sababu ya kukua na hiki kikundi, michanga yetu iliharibika, ilipoteza rutuba. So tunajaribu kurejesha hizi michanga ili zipate kuzalisha chakula. Tangu awali hizi mashamba zetu za huku tumekuwa tukilima, na wakati mwingi baada ya mavuno tunachoma shamba. So unapata ya kwamba wakati wa kulima mvua ikirudi ikiwa mingi, kwa sababu tumevunja mchanga, unapata ya kwamba mmonyoko wa udongo, mvua ikiwa mingi na beba maji. Na haswa hizi michanga hazikuwa na mitaro. So maji ilisombwa ikaenda kule mtoni. So tulikuja kugundua ya kwamba michanga imeharibika kwa sababu iliacha kuzalisha sasa. Sasa unapata tulikuwa tunapata mazao duni sana. Kama kuna shamba ingine hapa ilikuwa eka, kuna wakati nilipata tu gunia moja. Eka mzima unaweza imagine gunia moja. So ilikuwa loss. So baada ya kugundua hivyo tulitembelea shirika la kilimo kwa afisa wetu, na akakuja akaona ile shamba, akaiassess na akarudi kule ofisi. Ndiye pia tuimiza katika ile hali ya kukaa kwa kikundi, ndiye angetusaidia kabisa, kwa sababu mtu mmoja serikali sio rahisi msaidie. Katika hiyo harakati ndio tukakutana na ndio akakuja na shirika moja la Whh, ndio hapo mafunzo sasa yaliendelea.
Shamba yangu iko eka 5 na nilikuwa nalima hiyo shamba yote. Sikukuwa napata mavuno mazuri juu ilikuwa inasombwa na mmonyoko ya udongo. Sasa nilikuwa napata kama gunia 3 hivi ya mahindi kutoka kwa ekari 5. Sasa tokea nikutane na shirika ya Whh ambao walikuwa wanahifadhiwa na GIZ kama dona, nimekuwa nikipata mavuno mzuri baada ya kupata mafunzo.
So tumekuwa tukifanya mambo kadha kwa hizi mashamba zetu kama kikundi. So kama mimi ni mmoja wa wakulima, tulianza na mafundisho ya mbolea. Tulijifundisha mambo ya kuweka hizi worms, so kutengeneza mbolea. Na kwa sababu mbolea ndio ilikosekana kule, mchanga ilirudi kuwa kidogo yenye haina mbolea kwa sababu ya hiyo mmomonyoko wa udongo na nini. So ikafika mahali tukaanza na composting, mambo ya kutengeneza mbolea. So tuko na aina 2 hapa, tunatumia worms kutengeneza mbolea ya solid hii na ya liquid. Na kuna compost pia tuko nayo, tunachukua mabaki kutoka kwa shamba, pia tunayaozesha kule baada ya muda fulani, tuseme miezi 2 na nusu, miezi 3. So yote tutairudisha kule kwa shamba. Pia kule kwa shamba tulichimba mitaro, tukapanda napier grass ya kushikilia hizo mitaro. Wakati maji inaenda kwa kasi, inazuia hiyo mchanga isibebwe ikaenda kule chini kwa mitoni. So kwa hizo mitaro pia tukaweka miti, kuna agroforestry trees. And then kwa shamba yenyewe atulimi, tuliwacha kulima kusumbua mchanga. So siku hizi tunapanda bila kulima, kuzuia ile mmonyoko. Alafu kuna sehemu pia tunafunika hiyo mchanga, ili hata ile mvua ya kutoka juu inapogonga mchanga isinue ile mchanga, ipate kuoshwa na maji. So tuna aina ya mbegu ambazo tunapanda zenye zinashika hizo michanga.
In the case of Kakamega, for example, where the soils were found to be acidic, we were able to link the farmers with the subsidized lime that had been bought by GIZ. The farmers were able to buy that and carry out the soil amendments.
Liming iko na utaratibu yake ya kuwekwa, kwa sababu unatakana ufanye kilimo ya kwanza, first plough. Unapomaliza ndio tunaweka ile lime according to the recommendation, na hiyo lazima ifanywe kama 2 weeks to planting. Usiweke lime kama leo na kesho unaenda kupanda shamba. Ile mashamba itakuwa inahitaji lime, tufanye liming. Ile itahitaji compost manure, tuweke compost manure. Wale wenye watahitaji kubadilisha chemical fertilizer, tufanye nini? Tubadilishe. Mtafanya vile nimesema.
Kwa masomo ya leo nimefurahi kwa sababu sikukuwa nimejua ya kwamba shamba yangu inafaa niweke lime, na hata hiyo lime sikuwa nimewahi iona, na sikuwa nimejua ya kwamba inaweza tumika kwa shamba. Kwa hivyo imenifurahisha sana na imekuwa mafunzo mzuri kwangu. Imenipatia bidii ya kwamba kulingana na majibu ambayo itarudi ya shamba langu, mpaka nitaweka hiyo lime kwa shamba langu.
In Siaya we worked in 2 sub-counties. That is Rarieda and Bondo. The rains in Rarieda and Bondo are marginal. So a lot of agricultural activities have not been done in those counties compared to other parts of the county. So when the soils in Siaya were tested, it was found that they actually had low carbon as opposed to acidic soils like in Kakamega. We now had to focus on how to raise the carbon content of the soils.
Conservation agriculture has got 3 principles. The soils in Siaya from the results of soil testing had very low organic matter content, which is supposed to be at a minimum of 2%. But if you look at most of the results of the farmers, they were less than 2%. So what CA does is that if you with minimum tillage as one of the principles, you ensure that the soil remains intact. So when it rains, the runoff will not move with the soil organic matter. So it remains intact. The second principle, which is actually permanent crop cover, ensures that the ground remains moist so that the evaporation rate of the moisture from the ground is reduced. This therefore means that even if you do your planting and you have a cover crop on the farm, the loss of water will be reduced, and this crop will use the little that is in the farm to take care of itself. Thirdly, crop rotation as a practice has been very important actually in CA as a principle. What happens is that when you continue doing monocropping, apart from just cultivating the crop, you are also proliferating the multiplication of pests. So with crop rotation in CA, you ensure that you break the pest and the disease life cycles. It is called a natural farm cleaning.
Kwa hii shamba yangu nimepanda vitu mingi sana. Nimepanda napier, nimepanda agroforestry trees, that is conservation agriculture with trees. Nimepanda sweet potatoes, nimepanda mukuna, nimepanda doligos, nimepanda canavalia, nimepanda mulato, hiyo ni fodder crop. Nimepanda desmodium, nimepanda cassava, nimepanda mahindi, maragwe pia nimepanda. Hizi mimea zote kwa sasa hivi nimeona kama zinanipatia mazao mazuri nikilinganisha na miaka zilizopita. Sikukuwa nikipata mavuno mzuri.
Each of the groups had to volunteer a farmer where the demonstration unit would be set up, and all the practices would be set up there for farmers to come and learn. So these demonstration units were used as learning units by the farmers. Another thing that we also did was to take farmers for farmer exchange visits. And we took farmers to both within the county and outside the county. And when it comes to outside the county, we took them to places like Machakos, where a lot of soil conservation work has been done by the farmers there. Also their climate is marginal, so we needed the farmers to see that even if you have marginal rainfall, you can actually still be able to harvest something or have food security.
They even take our farmers to exchange visits. Nowadays it's not tours. Tours you go and you see and then you don't implement. This one you go and see how those other people are doing it so that you can also come and implement the way they have been doing it. Because for example, they took us to Machakos. Machakos is drier than our place. But if Machakos could produce, why not us? So at least they have changed the attitude of our farmers to change that at least things can be done even with the little rain that we have.
The project is dealing with soil rehabilitation and protection. And in order to achieve that, there are various components that we undertook to capacity build the farmers on. And there were four major components that we were dealing with. One was soil conservation measures, that was to address the issues of soil erosion and degradation of the land.
Nimekuwa nikifanya hii kazi ya kilimo kwa miaka mingi sasa. Na yenyewe nilikuwa na shida. Shida yangu kubwa ilikuwa ni mmomonyoko ya udongo yenye ilichukua karibu shamba yangu yote.
When we started, we came into the farm and then we did the reconnaissance survey. The reconnaissance survey is where you walk, find out the catchment area of the land, where the excess water is coming from. So when we came in, we found out that the water was having a catchment on the upper side. We are having a field on the upper side. So that field is maramish. So the excess water, kwa sababu there is no infiltration, it comes direct to the farm. So the best thing that we said, we were assuming now this one to be artificial waterway. Artificial kwa sababu it is the only method ambayo mvua lazima maji lazima itoke huko iende mahali. So this artificial, we thought of gully conservation. In the gully conservation, the best thing that we do was to start it from the upper side. Before the gabion came, we were using the alloys with some small structures. Okay, we just reducing the speed of water so that the excess water does not tamper with our soil. So when the WHH came, they helped us with the gabion beans.
The second one was agroforestry, where we are trying to encourage the farmers to integrate agroforestry trees into their farms. This addresses the issue of firewood for the farmer, fodder crops for their livestock, and of course improving their environment because of the issues of deforestation.
Chanzo chenye kimeleta hii mambo yote ni sababu ya michanga yetu ilizoroteka. Na kupitia kwa shirika la agriculture, WHH na JZ, kupitia kwa mafundisho mengi ambayo tumepitia, ndio imesababisha haya yote yakakuja ili tusaidie hizo michanga. So venye nimekwambia haswa katika hizo mitaro unaona tunazipanda kama hizi gravilia, tuko na lucina, tuko na kaliandra, tuko na mahamia. So ikiwekwa huko inasaidia sana hiyo mchanga.
The fruit trees were serving two purposes. One is, of course, it is an agroforestry tree per se, but at the same time it's able to generate additional revenue, because if you grow a mango, for example, you'll able to eat some to improve the nutritional health of your family, but at the same time any excesses are sold for increased income.
So kupitia kwa mafundisho mengi saizi at least tunaweza fanya grafting, kwa sababu hapo mwanzo hatukuwa tumejua. Huenda tulisomea tu kwa vitabu shule hivyo, lakini hatukushughulika nao, sikuwa nimejua. So baada ya trainings kadha wa kadha pia na exposure kule nje, at least saizi tunaweza kafanya na zikafaulu. Kama hapa unaweza ona maembe tulifanya grafting na kuhakikishia kwamba zimefaulu. Unaona kama hii imechomoza, ilijoiniwa na hapa, hii ndio ilikuwa root stock. Hii pia na zingine mingi ambazo ziko hapa. So hii maembe baada ya mvua ikianza miezi miwili hivi itakuwa inapelekwa kwa shamba.
The third component was to do with helping the farmers, or rather capacity building the farmers on good agricultural practices. And this involves teaching the farmers the good practices that will help them improve their productivity. That is looking after the fertility of their soils, early planting, early land preparation, proper handling of their produce, post-harvest handling, and keeping records. Because many times the farmers can say, I did well, but they actually cannot quantify how. And this can only be achieved if they keep good records to show them their costs of production vis-a-vis what they will get. The fourth component was integrated soil fertility management, where we were actually now training the farmers on how to improve the fertility of their soils. And this we did through methods like teaching them how to prepare compost. And we introduced two new innovations to them in terms of compost preparation, and that included vermiculture or vermicomposting, where we use the red wrigglers to fasten or hasten the process of decomposition of the farm waste.
Hapa nafuga hii dudu, ni jina yake kamili ni red wrigglers worms. Sasa hii tunaunda naye compost fertilizer ile natural. Sasa tunaipeana chakula hapa, alafu zinakula na zinakula, alafu zinakunia hapa. Sasa hiyo kunia yao, mavi yao ndio inatengeneza hii fertilizer. Hii fertilizer sasa haina acid yoyote. Ukitumia kwa shamba mimea inakuwa na nini mzuri, mimea mzuri kabisa. Sasa ukipanda mimea na hii kijiko moja, ikisaa kuwa na leaves mbili hivi, ukisaa weed mara moja, unafanya top dressing na hiyo vermi liquid. Sasa hiyo vermi liquid ni kong, una dilute. Kama ukitoa lita moja una dilute na lita 10 ya maji. Sasa hiyo inatosha mimea kukula mpaka hivi. Naona hata saa hii nilijaribu kupanda naye sukuma wiki, nikaona inatoa kutoa. Sasa hiyo ndio vile, kwa maana tunaifuga tutengeneze naye natural fertilizer. Hii wanatumiaga kwa ile tree seedlings. Inafanya wadudu zingine haikwai, mpaka hata virusi zingine haikwai kwa hiyo seedlings ya miti. Sasa mimi nazitumiaga tu kwa miti ama kwa mboga yenye nimepanda hapo kidogo.
The other one was also the use of effective microorganisms. And then thirdly and finally, using the normal traditional method of preparing compost. This was aimed at helping the farmers improve the productivity of the soil, as I earlier mentioned, but also helped them to cut down the costs of production, in that with the use of compost, they were able to reduce on the inorganic fertilizer. We trained farmers on integrated pest management, and with special emphasis on push and pull technology. That is because the main crop that is grown in Western Kenya is maize. And maize is affected by the bollworm, the African bollworm. And so in order to prevent the farmers from using pesticides, we introduced the concept of push and pull, where the farmer plants Napier grass as a border crop and intercrops the maize with desmodium. So the desmodium repels the worm and the Napier grass traps it. So that is the reason why it's called push and pull.
Tungependa tujifunze na wakulima juu ya IPM. Kama wakulima tulikubali kufanya huu mradi kwa sababu tulikuwa tunasumbuliwa na stem borer, false armyworms tumeziona last year, na striga weed, oliongo. So utapata desmodium ndio hii imetusaidia kupunguza hiyo. Badala ya kuspray shamba unaenda more expenditure ndio ya kununua dawa za kuspray. So ukitumia hii inakusaidia kutoa nini? Kutoa false armyworms na stem borer. Na bado at the same time inakusaidia kufanya nini? Inakusaidia kuua oliongo, stem borer. Stem borer ikitoka inakuwa pushed kutoka kwa mahindi. Badala ya kuattack mahindi juu hapa kuna harufu mbaya ya hii inatoa harufu ile attract nini? Hizo stem borer. So zinakuja kwa molato. Molato ndio hii. Tunaweza tumia either molato ama Napier grass.
Based on the feedback from the farmers that we have been engaged with, the project has been a success. In that not only has it helped the farmers improve their soil fertility, but it has also increased the productivity of their land. There are instances where a farmer would tell us that, before you came, I thought my land was cursed. But after the intervention, we realized that it had nothing to do with the curses, but actually had something to do with the soil fertility. So they are now able to reap from the land. And increased productivity means also increased income, because then the farmers are able to have surplus to be able to sell and generate income for themselves. Where we introduced the fruit tree nurseries, the farmers have also been able to earn additional money from selling of the fruit trees. And of course, they've planted in their own farms and are able to reap the benefits of having firewood close to them without deforestation. And of course, fodder feed available for their livestock. In the case of conservation agriculture, it has led to crop diversification. It means that a farmer is able to reap more than one crop from the same field. So reaping more than one crop also means to the farmer additional income.
We have developed in a way that we do not only look at the resources aligned directly from the government, but we also look at the resources that come from our partners. And Tunga Hifwe has come up with resources and projects or programs that help in soil rehabilitation. One of them is about conservation agriculture, which include minimum tillage, include cover cropping, include soil composting. And these are the major areas that Tunga Hifwe is actually contributing in Siaya. And in line with our County Integrated Development Program, these are our main areas to tackle. And we are very happy about Tunga Hifwe because of the contribution they're bringing in is in line with the policies of the county.
We can say we've succeeded in a large extent because we were targeting around 4,500 farmers, but we achieved more than the number required, over 5,000 farmers who have adopted the technologies and are practicing.
The project is sustainable because a lot of the measures that have been put in place, or the way we have capacity built the farmers, has resulted in improved productivity of the land. And for farmers, if their productivity improves, then for them to continue doing what they have been taught is very easy because it pays them to do so.
Ni heko sana kwa shirika la kilimo, WHH, JZ, wametusaidia sana.
I want to also thank the field officers that we have been together with, because if we are not JZ, we would have not gotten all this knowledge. Some of us came in, we had quite a amount of basic knowledge on this, but through various trainings that we have had, we are now different and we can be able to actually help other farmers elsewhere apart from Siaya.
We'd like to thank BMZ that provided the funding through GIZ, who are our implementing partners on the ground. We also want to thank the Ministry of Agriculture, who are our main stakeholders in terms of implementation, without whom we'd not have been able to achieve what we did. We'd also like to thank the research bodies, especially CALRO, for providing us with the clean planting material that we were able to provide to our farmers to be able to use on their farms. We also want to thank ISIPE for providing the trainings on push and pull, and also the other implementing partners like the RUAs, the local NGOs, the CBOs that we worked with in the project, for all the support that they accorded us and for doing a good job in terms of the implementation of the project.